Our first guest this season is author Alicia Couri. Throughout the season, Alicia will be joining us to provide tips from her book, Age Younger, on how to look and feel younger no matter what age you are. Well, welcome to the show. This is very exciting. You're going to be with us for the next 13 weeks.
Yes,
talking
I'm
about
excited.
Your fabulous book, which I loved.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
And I'm sure that our viewers will once they get to know you and know what it's about. So please tell us how you came to write the book. What inspired you?
I am someone in the beauty industry, Nancy, and for decades, women have asked me.
Decades?
Decades. I've been in the beauty industry for decades. And women, I see a lot of women, and they always ask me, what is my secret? Because when they find out that I have children, and my oldest will be 20, and a 15-year-old and a 9-year-old, they always ask me, well, what do you do? What are your secrets? You look like you're 20 yourself. How do you do? How does that happen?
Do you still get carded?
I do, actually. It's crazy, but I do. At 48, I'm still getting carded.
Oh my gosh.
So, yes. So they asked me what my secrets are, and 2 years ago I sat down and started thinking about it, and I thought, well, maybe I'll start writing down some tips, and I started doing some research and realized that there's something there.
Absolutely. There's something for everybody in there. What do you find are the most important elements that you feel will help you age gracefully?
Well, the first chapter of the book, this is why I made it the first chapter, it's about thought and the inception of a thought. And so I think that the way you think and the way you speak about aging and yourself has a huge impact on aging gracefully.
And you know, that goes along with, again, anything that you think. I mean, we all have worries.
Yes.
And we all get angry at things, but you have shown us in your book how to kind of let that go and how negative thoughts really
affect and impact you. Yes. And one of my favorite movies is the movie Inception. And Inception, they go into the subconscious mind. It's a really detailed movie. You have to to concentrate. But what they do is they implant a thought in its inception, in its beginning, so that beyond that you start acting and doing things differently. So I want you to really consider, what is the inception? What is the first thought that you had of aging? A lot of us looked at parents or grandparents, and and 20 years ago, people looked older than they do now.
Absolutely.
You know, they acted older than they do now. So when you look at the inception of that thought, maybe as a child you looked at someone in their 60s and thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be, I'm going to be old, I'm going to be wrinkled, and so that kind of translates, and as you get older, you speak those things. Okay.
Now you mentioned in the first chapter there, Dr. Carolyn Hans did some research.
Leaf. Yes, Dr.
Thank
Carolyn
you, Carolyn Leaf.
Yes, she does research. She's a neuroscientist, and she does research into the structure of the brain and thought. And you can actually see toxic thoughts in the structure of the brain. And you have an opportunity to reverse those thoughts. So thoughts about aging that are toxic, like I said before, like, I'm going to be wrinkly, I'm going to be, I'm not going to have any energy to do anything, I'm going to have to walk with a cane, I'm going to be in a wheelchair. Those kind of thoughts start, translating into words. Right. And when you start translating those into words, that manifests.
Right. So first, I mean, we all know, well, we do, but we forget, I think, that it all starts from here. I mean, you start
right inside of here,
and then you start manifesting it
through speech, through the way you speak.
Yep.
And when you start talking those things become reality in your life.
I don't feel good.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, look at and it just it
perpetuates.
Right. Absolutely.
It perpetuates.
Absolutely.
And that's, again, I mentioned in the book, Dr. Hans Jenny did some research on sound waves and sand, and how, when they played beautiful music, they got these beautiful, intricate patterns, and when they played really sounds that were not acoustically pleasing, those patterns were very disruptive, and they were very, they weren't aesthetically beautiful.
Right.
And so if you consider when you speak negatively, those are disruptive sound waves
Right.
and energy, and that's what's translating into your physical being. So it's really important the way you think and the way you speak about yourself and how you age.
Okay, now-
if you haven't thought about translating that into how you age.
Okay. How do you suggest people start that?
Well, first you have to look at what you're actually thinking. So look at what it is you're thinking. What was the inception of
Right.
that thought? What was the and if it's really true, is that reality? Because if you believe it to be true, it fulfills itself.
Yes.
So if you look at it and you think, well, yeah, I thought that when I'm in my 80s or 60s or 70s, whatever age it is, I'll be in a wheelchair, I'll be frail. Well, is that really reality? Is that true?
No.
It's not.
No.
You have the opportunity now to change those things by changing those thoughts.
So change your
thoughts.
Change your
but
thoughts.
understand where it came from and how you can now make that shift.
Okay. The part that I got out of it was we know these things, but I think we've forgotten them over the years. I mean, and tying in the medical research that you do
Right.
kind of puts it in perspective for everybody.
Absolutely. I did a lot of research while I was writing the book to kind of find validation for what it is that I did just naturally. And I found a lot of research out there that backs up, that has a scientific basis that, you know, translates to
Right.
anti-aging. So it was
Wonderful.
great.
Well,
I had
this
a lot
was-
of fun.
This was great,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you next week.
Yes, I would love to come back.
Great. Thank you. Please stay tuned. Aging Gracefully on Suncoast FYI will return after a short break.